So after she'd been on it for a while, 60 or 90 days, we retested. Wouldn't you know, all those bacteria and parasites were gone, but another parasite showed up. This is what we call the subclinical infections, the hidden infections. It was kind of like peeling an onion. You know, when you have a bruise on the outside, you peel that first layer.
Different layers.
Looks good, but all of a sudden another bruise
Yes.
shows up.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens with these parasites, is they can hide. And until they're brought out, but by means of nutrition or botanicals, you don't know that they're there.
And that's pretty scary.
It is. And I'll tell you, a lot of people in this country and around the world have parasites.
And they have no clue.
They have no clue.
Wow.
But they're dealing with digestive problems, or even beyond that, it becomes an immune problem at that point.
Sure.
Because your
It
first
gets
line of
really
defense,
deep, yeah.
right? Your first line of defense is your gut.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize that our immune system is our gut.
Yeah, that's it.
So if
That's
you
where it all
destroy the
begins.
gut, you now have immune problems. You now have a potential for bringing in pathogens or bacteria from outside. And then if that's not taken care of, it can lead to things like malnutrition and leaky gut syndrome and
boy.
malabsorption problems.
It's just the list goes on. And
Right.
you know, there's so many types of illnesses out there. I can't even count them anymore. You know,
Right.
I used to know the basics, but now it's just new things are popping up every day.
They come up with new diseases every day.
It never ends. What type of illnesses can functional diagnostic medicine really attack and cure?
Well, there really isn't anything that it can't handle. And I don't want to say that we cure diseases, because we don't. What I'm working with is your body.
Okay.
So what I'm looking at when somebody comes into me with a diagnosed disease is I'm looking at why their body isn't functioning properly, why it's not dealing with this issue that led to the disease in the first place.
And after you've done your testing, what is your treatment regimen?
Well, that's where we get into the 4 R's again. It's remove the offending situation, whatever it might be, re-inoculate with good bacteria. So we've got things like the lactobacillus and the
Nice.
bifidus. And we're not talking about just go out and get a container of yogurt. That's one strain and it's very mild. But we'll re-inoculate with good bacteria. Because over the years with antibiotics, not only have you destroyed the bad bacteria, but you destroyed the good bacteria as well. So we really need to rebuild the good bacteria. So once we do that, then we go through the replacement. And the replacement is modification in the foods that you're eating, looking at your diet.
So Dr. Ross, it's not just the diet per se, then we're also looking at the water we drink. We're also looking at the air we breathe.
Absolutely.
And especially stress.
Absolutely.
I keep hearing that stress is the #1 cause of all these problems occurring in your body.
Absolutely. Stress is the #1 cause for the degenerative diseases we have today.
Unfortunately, in modern America, that's what we're facing now more than ever before.
Yes,
Stress
yes.
of everything is so
Right.
very stressful nowadays.
So,
Makes a lot of
a big
sense.
part of what I'm dealing with is I become the patient's coach. I become the patient's advisor. So we'll deal with stress. We'll look at what may have caused the degenerative diseases to begin with, whether it's stress at work, stress at home, whether it's the stress of the foods that you're eating,
Sure.
the water that you're drinking, and I'll coach the patient through that. So when I'm working with a patient and I'll put them on a healthcare program, a wellness program, I give them very specific regimens. And I give them specific regimens because I know that they've worked before. So I want to have good control on what the patient is taking in so I know how they're going to react. They might go down to the discount store and say, well, I'll get my calcium there because it's cheaper.
Right.
Sure.
How do you know if your body's even using it?
Exactly.
There's a lot of cheap products out there. There's a lot of synthesized products out there. And really the best is if we can deal with this all with whole foods, healthy foods, lots of intake of good clean water,
And
even
that's the way
better.
it should have been from the start. That's the
Right.
way we're meant to, our bodies are meant to only take in whole foods and nutritious foods, and organic foods, not
That's right.
really with all this food that we have now with all these chemicals and
processed foods.
exactly. There's so many processed
Exactly.
foods out there. What do you expect?
Right,
You know, what do you
right.
expect?
Right.
So are you saying that pretty much anybody could benefit from functional diagnostic
Absolutely.
medicine? They don't
Absolutely.
they don't necessarily have to be sick first
That's right.
to come and see you.
That's right. No, they don't have to have a sickness. I have patients coming into me all the time wanting to know how well they are. And when they find out that there's something going on, that's where we can correct it so much easier. You know, give you an example here, autoimmune diseases like lupus is actually detectable 10 years before it becomes a symptom.
Wow.
Most people don't realize that.
Really?
So these degenerative diseases actually can be identified years in advance before they take over your life.
And that is so crucial because you do not want to wait till the last minute. Now, speaking of patients, what if someone wanted to see you? Okay, they wanted to really know what's going on with their body. Would they have to drive to San Diego to see you, or how would this work?
They don't have to come to see me. I consult with patients all over the world, and I do that through phone consultations.
Okay.
And because most of these labs, with the exception of blood, can be done in the comfort of their own home, we can send the test kits out to them with instructions. They do the test at home, whether it's saliva, stool, hair, or urine, and they send it back to the lab. The lab then sends me the results. I contact them, we get on the phone, I fax the information to them, the results, and we go over them together.
That is
So
amazing.
I make the recommendations.
That is amazing. So basically what you're saying is it doesn't have to be a local patient.
Correct.
Anyone from around the world can contact you.
Absolutely.
You got to be grateful for modern technology.
Absolutely.
But it's there for anyone and everyone around the entire country
Right.
or the world.
Right.
Very
Exactly.
good.
And the people who purchase your Curing the Cause, it's all put in layman's terms, so pretty much anybody can go through it and understand what you're talking about,
Right.
correct?
Yes, the book has everything in it that I've talked about here today so far and more. It does go through the 4 R's in great detail. We talk about degenerative diseases, we talk about getting to the root cause, different tests that can be done. And I also developed the book in such a way that I did a recording of the book also.
Okay.
So the package comes with 6 CDs that'll walk you through it. So, you know, many people are just in their cars so
Sure.
much today
Mm-hmm.
that if they want the audio version, they can just listen to that. And I've also
that's
got
great.
a DVD in there as well,
Oh,
That's great.
where I talk about 6 common health challenges and explain how to go about getting to the root cause of those as well.
Okay.
Now, Dr. Ross, we're talking about outsiders, regular people who may want to purchase the product or come see you, or you can provide them with your services. Now, what about doctors? Would you, let's just say, would you actually recommend a doctor incorporating your ideas or curing the cause and preventing disease, incorporating into their practice?
Absolutely. And I made this book also in such a way that it's ideal for the physician that wants to learn as well. So I do go through the 3 pillars of health. I go through the restoration process. And this is basically what we learn in seminars.
Sure.
So I've developed it for both the layman and the professional to listen to read, and incorporate that. So yes, I would love to see more professionals working with functional medicine, and they can incorporate that rather easily into their practice.
Okay. Now, how can our listeners or viewers actually contact you? If you could provide us with some information, that would be great.
One way, obviously, by telephone,
Okay.
and by calling our clinic at 858-481-1131.
Okay.
And the receptionist there will direct you as to the next step. Also through my website at curingthecause.com. And I have a number of articles there and testimonials, as a matter of fact, there. And I think you're on one of the video testimonials of Vita's.
I had to
And
do
the
it.
stories that I was just sharing with you are on there as well. But there's also a section for patients, for new patients. So they can download the forms there. They can set up their appointments through that as well. So I make it rather easily.
And your website provides a whole slew of information for people looking to find some answers as well.
Right. Got
Very
a lot
good.
of articles there as well. Right.
Very good. Well, thank you, Dr. Ross. We'll be back more on Dr. Ross, so stay tuned if you'd like to know more. Thank you.
Welcome back to Business Success Weekly, where we have our special guest today, Dr. Stephen Ross. Dr. Ross, we hear a lot today about people who are unhappy with their current medical treatment. As you know, most people nowadays, they go in and they see their doctor about 20 seconds, and that's all they get. So, with all the medications that people are taking nowadays, do you foresee any changes in the way that medicine will be done and the way functional diagnostic medicine will enter into the medical profession?
Absolutely. I think the consumer is becoming much more aware, and they're smart people out there. and they're realizing that